Welcome to Etcetera with the Woodards. I'm your host for this evening, Craig Woodard Sr., and joining me is my co-host Deontay Cooley. DC, thanks for joining me tonight, man. How you doing? You good tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Steelers off until tomorrow. We got a Monday night game, man. So it was a relaxing day for me. You know what I mean? But I believe I did see your Niners won, correct?
Yes, sir.
I
30.
think.
Well, last I checked, it was 31-10. I was bowling when it was going. So
Yeah, I think they pulled it off. I think I saw on the ticker. Speaking of NFL news, it's crazy, man. Philip Rivers, remember him, who retired back in 2021 after that season. It's been 1,800 days, and the quarterback for the Colts uh, tore his Achilles tendon. So they called Philip Rivers this week and pulled him out of retirement at 44 years old, and they almost came back and won and beat the Seahawks. The Seahawks kicked I think it was a 60-yarder right at the end of the game to win it, but he put them in position to win. 44 years old, man. He's 7 years younger than me. I can't imagine padding him up right now. I cannot
yeah, I'm
imagine.
39 and I ain't going out there.
I mean, think about that, man. That is crazy. And he was healthy, didn't get hurt. Quarterback position is a little different than running back and these wide receivers and D backs and stuff. But kudos to him at 44 for going back out there for the love of the game. You know what I mean? All right, let's get right into this, man. It is episode 53 today. We're moving right along, and it is day 164 in the Marcello Woodard investigation. Um, where we left off last show, we had basically a cry for help for the black community in Erie, Pennsylvania. We started off pretty hot. The first protest that we had on 21st and Parade was crowded. It was packed. It was energetic. We had a lot of people there that were all about justice for Cello. And this is no different than any other type of situation, but the crowd then tends to thin out over a course of time. There's some people that are built for this. They're built for this, and they don't know that they're built for it when they start. Of course, we are. We're still here. It's day 164. We're talking about it. We're pushing it. We're applying pressure and everything. And we expect everybody else to do the same thing when you have such an injustice that has occurred in Erie, Pennsylvania. You went on about 5 minutes the other day and said some things that I've talked to people that they said needed to be said. And that's the one thing about you, DC, is you bring the truth. You don't care about if people like it or not. It is what it is. But you're not going to um, change your perspective just to appease people. And you spoke the truth. And I back you up 100%. Um, our people need to come out and support Justice Ficello, plain and simple. And I made the comment after you were done saying that um, this is a huge reason why we did not start this whole thing off at the very beginning saying that this is a black and a white thing. This is a right and a wrong thing. And we've had a lot of support from a lot of our white friends, the Sisters of Benedictine. I could go on and name a number of supporters that we have, and we could have pushed them away by making this a color thing. But this is a right and a wrong thing. But having said that, where's our folks at, man?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like we talked about it the other day. I'm curious to know that myself as well. Some people did reach out to me and say, like that definitely needed to be said.
Yeah.
I know some people who understood where I was coming from and agreed. Nobody has reached out and said they disagreed, and I have
Mhm.
yet to see anything subliminally. But like again, that was more or less just like a call to action. Like we need more support. We need more people, speaking up. We need more people making those phone calls, sending those emails,
Mhm.
doing whatever you can in the capacity that you can. We just need more people continuing to keep the message alive that we're seeking justice for Cello. We need more people letting people know that we're not going anywhere. We want answers. We want some type of communication. We want transparency. and we want change. And also, like, something about that is, like I said the other day, is we're advocating for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're talking about change in the city of Erie, Pennsylvania, and then also we want people to understand that we would do this if it was for you. I mean, if it was you too. You understand? Because, like you said, right is right and wrong is wrong, and this is completely wrong. So it's more or less like, how do we continue to come together as a people?
Yeah.
How do we get our friends, our family members, and our loved ones to be more active? How do we get people to understand that the expectation is for us to go away so they can be swept under the rug? So we need to get bigger. We need to be louder. We need to be have more support. We need to be more strategic. We need to be more tactful with things. And in order for us to be able to do those things,
Hmm.
we're gonna have to, gain more people that's gonna support us and make more noise. And again, I believe that we need more people who look like us. We need more black people getting involved as well. We need more white people. We need more
Yeah.
it's Hispanic people. But I'm speaking from the black perspective because I am a black man. So that's what my message was. That's what my message is. And hopefully it's not taken an offensive light. And hopefully some people will just be like, you know what? Let me just get involved, or let me see what I can do. How can I help and reach out? Like, I'll be in stores and people ask me about. I was just at bowling. Somebody, random person, hey man, you guys I see you on the news, or I see you all the time. My neighbors, hey, what's going on with that? We out here shoveling the snow. So people are recognizing that people are seeking justice. There are complete strangers who now know my face, know my name, and know some of the things that I speak for.
Hmm.
So understand that this is not something that is going unnoticed, and we need more people to continue to bring light to the situation.
Yeah, and I agree with you, man. We need more of everybody to come out and to get this thing together, man. And you shared a lot of different things on um, social media, Facebook, with the art of war and getting prepared and developing your mindset for this battle that we have that we're getting ready to enter into. We're not in it yet. This is the preliminary stage because there has not been a decision made yet. So we got a long way to go, and there's got to be a lot of strategy behind a lot of the different things that we do. Speaking of that, next up we do have on Wednesday is the city council meeting at 6:30. What do you anticipate crowd wise? We're doing this cry for help for people to come out and come and speak. Even just to come down and say, hey, I'm down here to support Justice for Cello. My name is Craig Woodard, lifelong resident of Erie, PA, and then sit back down. That's sufficient, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We just want people to be there. But honestly, for this meeting, I feel like this meeting might be packed.
Yeah.
Again, the reason why it might be packed is because this is the last meeting of 2025. And then we also have Mr. Mel Witherspoon, who will be that will be his last meeting, as city council. So we know, Mel has a lot of support within the city of Erie. He has had a huge impact on a lot of different people's lives. People have spoke up to that and spoke to that. So I believe that he should receive the same type of recognition that Andre received, at the county council meeting. I feel like everybody who supports Mr. Witherspoon should be there at that meeting to send him off, you know what I mean, with good graces. So I'm expecting it to be packed just on the strength of that, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, because of how long he has been here in the Erie community, as well as Chuck Nelson. Chuck Nelson that will be his last city council meeting. I'm not sure if he plans on running again in the future or what his plans are, but for the year of 2025, that'll be his last meeting. I know a lot of people support Chuck as well. Chuck has had an impact on the Erie community. Chuck has
Mhm.
done a lot of different things to create some changes. It's when it comes to the money and helping Erie, dig out of some holes when we were.
Yeah.
So again, I'm expecting, even before we get to the point of people showing up to talk about justice for Cello, I'm 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 expecting it to be like jam packed. And then on top of that, then when we talk about us coming down there to speaking for justice, I'm expecting it to be packed as well.
Yeah.
Again, letting people know this is the last meeting of the year. This is how we're
Mhm.
going to send it off. The same way we're going to bring it in. And we need to let the next two people who are coming in know, which is Andre, and
Mhm.
Marilyn Poe, like, hey, this is how we're coming. We're going to be at these meetings. We're going to be paying attention. We're going to be attentive. And then also, they showed us some grace at the last meeting with the resolution and stuff like that. So I feel like, we need to continue to go and apply pressure, and we need to do it in a manner to where we let them know that we understand what happened and we understand where they're coming from, and we have their support, and how do we leverage those relationships. But I'm thinking that this meeting is going to be like crazy.
Yeah, yeah. You know, the last Erie County Council meeting, which was Dre's last one, was pretty historic. You
Right.
know, a number of great speakers came up and not only gave him his flowers and recognized his 12 years of service, but um, had a lot of different things to say about what we want going forward and different ideas and things like that. And I would assume that this is going to be the same. I mean, there's going to be people that have a lot of great things to say to Mel, and rightfully so. What a great servant he was to the community, also the black community as well. Just taking note as well, he did get permission from my cousin Charles, Sonny Woodard, um, to get a picture of Cello on a lot of the jerseys that they're going to be doing in 2026 over in Spoons League. I mean, what an honor that is as well, to keep Cello's memory alive. So that is fantastic, and Spoons put in his time, man, and it'll be sad to see him go, but I would love to see a lot of great change come from the change of seats as well. Andre's coming in, and Chuck is leaving as well. I mean, we don't know if he's going to be coming back, but I want to see how we've talked about what does justice for Cello look like for you, and I stick to my top five, which is termination, um, uh, indictment, arrest, conviction, and change. And those five things you can expand on very, very clearly, especially change. Change can happen in a number of different ways. As they change the seats, there could be a lot of different policy change. We've talked about putting together some type of a board with the community and the police. That could probably also include parole agents and that whole law enforcement body. So there's got to be a lot of different things that happen. That would be what justice for Cello looks like for me. What is when we talk about that, because we say it all the time, justice for Cello every single day. What does justice for Cello look like for you, Cuz?
I mean, I guess I will expand on everything that you said when we talk about the change aspect, because of course we want a termination.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Kevin Sheiliger should be employed. If he is employed, he should not be working for the state. I'll say that. I'm not going to say he shouldn't be employed. What I
Mm-hmm.
will say is he should not be working for the state of Pennsylvania as overseeing any person's life. So I
Yeah.
agree with that. You know what I mean? Then we got the conviction. He needs to be arrested and tried and go to jail and all of that stuff. And we need some justice. But when we talk about the change aspect of it, change
Mm-hmm.
means a lot to me, because again, I know people have their issues or their concerns, or when we bring up people's past or their reputation, but it's like growing up in the city of Erie, depending on what your life looked like some people made decisions that they thought was in the best interest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And if that means commit crimes to make money for your family, there are people who think that that is okay. So we need
Mm-hmm.
to talk about that. You know what I mean? We need to talk about the opportunity for people who don't see a way out. We need to
Right.
talk about mental health. We need to, and this is another thing that I think too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the the Erie police, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure how connected or how involved they are with the Erie County Office of Drug and Alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
but they're the first people to respond and incarcerate people. So I feel like we should have some type of city level of involvement with the Erie County Office of Drug and Alcohol. So then that way we can be educating and informing people more on a city level, because drugs are an issue within our community. You know what I mean? So when we talk about change, why do people sell drugs? I don't think that, like Jay-Z said in the song, like, we not thugs for the sake of just being thugs.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So there are people who think that way for a reason. So what are some of the things that we need to do to talk about that, to get us out of that mindset? What are the opportunities for people who have an organizational mind but don't have the resources to tap into those things? When
Yeah.
we talk about change, we also talk about mental health. Like, mental health is taboo in our community to talk about. A lot of men don't care to speak about mental health. A lot of
Right.
black people don't care to speak about mental health. So
Yep.
then some of the things that we do is we don't internalize our feelings, and we allow them to come out in ways and manners that not only impact us, but it impacts our community in a negative way. So when
Yep.
we talk about change, we need to be talking about all of those things. We need to be talking about drug and alcohol abuse. We need to be talking about mental health. We need to be talking about homelessness. Those are some of the things that I'm talking about. And I think that, a lot of people feel like it may not be connected, but it's very well tied in, because when you live in a community or you live in a society to where you always have to struggle to survive,
Yeah.
sometimes the shiniest thing looks like your victory, and the shiniest thing is not in your best interest. So how do we, I guess, offer more shiny things, or how do we offer more resources? What policies do we need to change so it can be more inclusive? And when I say more inclusive, I mean, like, how do we have more black police officers? How do we have more Hispanic police officers? How do we have more black people on boards? How do we have, or for other races? Because I don't want to feel like I'm excluding anybody. But again, when we look at the way things work, it just is what it is. The majority of things are ran by people who are white.
Right.
And I think that we've gotten to a point now to where there are enough black people and brown people and other races of people who are educated enough to be able to sit in these positions, hold these positions, or have some type of say so and some type of authority. And I believe because we're going on the same old way that we typically do, some people aren't being considered, because typically you have to be a middle-aged white man to be in a position of power. And now we're getting to, it's like now we're shifting to, they're allowing women to be in positions of power, which is great and which is fantastic. But
Yeah.
we also need to be more inclusive as well, so we can change the narrative. So change looks like parole agents shouldn't be feeling like they should shoot their
Yeah.
parolees. You're supposed to be helping them. You're supposed to be guiding them. He
Yep.
should never be thinking like that. He should have never, his background or his paper trail shows that this is not a job he is fit for.
Yeah.
So how are we as the community allowing, or how are the powers that be allowing the community to be more involved and more active in the decisions that are made for them, so things like this don't happen? Because again, you even had people who were afraid to speak up, who saw an innocent man get shot and killed by his parole agent.
Yep.
So it's like, when we talk about change, people should not be afraid to speak up for the right thing.
Yep.
There are people who are on parole who
Mm-hmm.
want to come out and advocate for justice for Cello, who have said they have been told if they come out, there's going to be consequence for them. So when we talk about change, a parolee is supposed to be assisted by his parole agent, not threatened, not
Right.
intimidated, not to feel like he should be afraid or have things to worry about. So again, for me, my change is bigger than just an arrest.
Right.
I've been living in Erie my entire life. I've been a product of the public school system, been a product of the after school programs, free lunch in the park, grants and scholarships and all of that for me to go on to be successful in college. So I believe in the city of Erie. I understand some of the things that go south as well as some of the things that go well. I've been invited to conversations to where people talk about how benefits can happen. But what I will say is, when they have those conversations, we're not included because we're considered uneducated.
Mm-hmm.
So even when we talk about change for us also means we need to internally change, because
Yeah.
I'll speak for myself. I know my flaws.
Yeah.
I know what I do wrong. I know the areas I need to improve at. I know my ignorances. I know my prejudices. I know the
Mm-hmm.
things that are taboo for me, but I'm actively working on those things, because what I don't want is for an opportunity to come my way and somebody have the ability to tell me you're not ready because
Yeah.
you're so angry, or because you're running off at the mouth all the time, or
Mm-hmm.
because you can't read, or because you don't know how to be a team player. So again, even when we talk about change, we can't expect the system to change for us to just pretty much meet every single need that we are crying for. We
Mm-hmm.
also need to change ourselves, because we need to understand that there are things that are coming for us and coming to us, and we need to be preparing ourselves for those things. So we need to stop arguing and fighting so much with one another when we talk about change. We need to start identifying people we can rely on. We need to
Mm-hmm.
start identifying people we can help. We need to start tapping into those organizations that have the resources for us, and sharing that knowledge with our friends who need the help as opposed to gatekeeping. We as individuals also have things that we need to change. When we talk about justice for Cello,
Yeah,
we're not just letting this man die in vain. We're not just gonna, okay, well, now that we got an arrest, if I don't care if they give Kevin Sealinger a life sentence, it's still justice for Cello. You know
that's
what I
right.
mean? That man was a legend here in the city of Erie, Pennsylvania. Clearly, you can tell it's hard
Hmm.
if you've been fighting. So when we talk about change and we talk about justice, everybody and everything needs to change for the better. And some of us, a lot of us, need to start internally looking inward and figuring out what we can do so that we can outwardly express it. And then when we go to those places and those powers that be, and we ask for these requests, when they say, well, are you guys ready? Or if they say, take me to your leader, you know what I mean? Like the movie, whatever the case may be, we can say, yeah, we can identify 10, 15, 20 people who's ready to lead the new regime or
Yeah,
who's ready to serve the community or who needs the help or who has the resources. So again, justice for Cello to me does not just mean lock this man up. Justice for Cello to me does not just mean district attorney speak to us. It doesn't just mean we want more representation on county council. It means a multitude of things. And I have conversations with a lot of educated as well as uneducated people, intellectual as well as ignorant people, people in the business world, people in the street, working people. And we all are able to identify what we want to see change in the city of Erie so that we can live better. And it's an unfortunate but yet fortunate situation that Cello is the catalyst for the movement of change in Erie because
right.
we're going to say justice for Cello forever. I
Yeah,
don't care if that man loses his job tomorrow.
yeah.
Then the police pick him up on Tuesday. And then the judge say, you know what, no bond on Wednesday. And 3, 4 months later, he go to trial and he gets found guilty on all charges and they give him life without a chance of parole.
Hmm.
After that day, we still gonna be at these meetings saying justice for Cello. Okay, y'all helped us just a little bit, but
Yeah,
we live like this for a reason because we don't know any better. So show us better because we're criticized, black on black crime, or we're scrutinized. You people just don't get it. So open the doors for us to come in or get out of our way and allow the people who can walk through the doors and lead us come in. But at the end of the day, justice for me does not just mean an arrest and a conviction. It means we need to change life forever for everybody around here.
yeah.
And we, the people who want to change, also have to do some internal processing and internal changes within ourselves.
And sometimes when you are in the midst of an investigation, you got to go back to certain life changing experiences and investigate that, at least question that to see if that is a part of what actually occurred. So last night I'm on the phone with Terry and Jerry Roberts, and I said to them, I said, hey man, what actually happened with Kevin Sealinger's sister? And Jerry said, "Man, what made you ask that, cuz?" And I was like, "I just heard a number of different things a while ago, and we're looking at different areas right now to investigate and to talk about and everything." So Jerry did some research while we were on the phone. Man, he starts pulling it up and kind of confirmed what I had been told, and it looks like back on April 4th of 2023, Amanda Bowen, which is Kevin Sealinger's sister, died of a fentanyl overdose. She was found in the back parking lot behind Tops, I believe, and I guess the coroner stated that she had been in the car for 10 to 14 hours. Sources also tell Etcetera that Kevin Sealinger did not like people that sold drugs. So here you got somebody that is a probation officer, a parole agent, that is dealing with someone that sold drugs. Does that paint some type of a motive? I mean, for him to get out of the car in 16 seconds and fire his gun 3 times when Cello was unarmed and no drugs were even found in the car, like, what is that about? There's something behind it. There's people out there that'll say, well, you don't comply when an officer tells you to get out of the car. We don't know if they asked him to get out of the car. We don't know any of that yet. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to figure out why he shot him 3 times. The one thing that we do know is that he was not being dragged because we have clear audio from the ring door Bell video. But you know, thinking about his sister and what happened, um, I guess possibly there's a chance that that could show some type of motive if he didn't like people that sold drugs, right?
I mean, yeah, possibly. I mean, what I will say though is like, because I said, I have 12 and a half years experience working in drug and alcohol counseling. So that's definitely a touchy subject.
Yeah.
I know his sister has no involvement with the situation. So we are, RIP to her. And you know what I mean? That's an unfortunate, sad subject because
Yeah.
addiction is real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, that's why when I say, like, when we talk about change and we talk about justice for Cello, like, regardless of what anybody thinks or how anybody feels, like, addiction is a true disease that people, like, you get trapped into that. I don't believe that anybody wants to be a drug addict to live their life or to live their dreams out. I don't
Mhm.
think anybody wants to be a drug dealer to live their dreams out. It's more or less like these are the circumstances that society puts on us, and some of us kind of fall victim to those lifestyles. So if
Right.
we can provide people with different opportunities, if we can provide people with different mindsets to change, then we wouldn't have situations such as overdoses. And I know it's like we can't completely wipe that away, but it'd
Hmm.
be few and far between. We also wouldn't have situations such as, people glorifying drug dealing and glorifying drug use because we all know, like, the government, they pump the drugs out anyway. So I just wanted to say that because what I don't want to do is take the situation of his sister passing away to a drug overdose and kind of like compare those two.
Right.
What I will say is I have heard that he has had issues with people who sold drugs.
Hmm.
And this is the thing too. When we talk about this, this is why I emphasize the importance of him needing to have a mental health evaluation before he returned to work.
Mm.
I had
Yeah.
to have a mental health evaluation about some words being exchanged. And
Mm.
through that, they ask you so many questions to where it's like you'll pull out what's going on within somebody, or you can pull out that they're not telling the truth because they'll ask you the question so many different ways to where it's just like either you're lying or you'll get pulled into that. So I
Right.
think that's why I continue to say, like, as far as like with him working for the state, like him being in the union, I believe that a mental health evaluation should have taken place because regardless of why he did what he did, he still did something. And if
Yeah.
the right person would have asked him the right questions, they may have been able to pull out that information at the speculation because somebody sent that to me too. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So somebody, they may have been able to pull out the information of those speculations to say, hey, yeah, this man is not fit for duty, or he
Right.
probably should not be working with this population of people due to some. Because again, I'm a huge advocate for mental health as well. Trauma
Right.
is real. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Like, it takes a sick individual to kill somebody
Yeah.
unarmed with motive. Like, you have
Yeah.
to be sick to do that. It takes a sick individual to even be able to report for duty following that and still be in their right state of mind. So I will say, because I'm a God-fearer man, I do believe that there's something going on with him and God bless him. But at
Hmm.
the end of the day, there's no excuse for what he did. I
Right.
do believe that there was motive. We're going to RIP to his sister because those are two situations that are not relatable and not comparable. And what I don't want to do is anybody that feel as though we're trying to play with the passing of someone or play with the overdose of someone and trying to like play investigator because trust me, believe me, like addiction is real. It is a
Yeah.
disease, and people like addiction has no prejudice, it has no bias, it'll get you. And once it gets a hold of you, I mean, it's hard to recover from. So again, I wanted to make sure that I say that because I don't want anybody to feel like you, me, or anybody else who has been seeking justice for Cello
Yeah.
is making an attempt to make light of the situation of his sister passing. I do understand the messages that have been coming our way, but
Yeah.
I believe that on that subject specifically, we
Yeah.
need to leave that one to the district attorney and the psychologist or the psychiatrist to kind of figure out if that specific incident played a role in what's going on. But I don't want that to be something that we, the people who are talking at those county council and city council meetings and us on this podcast, I don't want to put no light on that situation and make it seem as though we are being insensitive to the loss of a life because we are grieving as well. If all of
Absolutely.
that makes sense.
Yep. And I agree with you. Amanda Bowen, April 4th, 2023. She was a mom, and she has nothing to do with this. So definitely rest in peace. Um, I wanted to get into something. I got some breaking news that I want to share with everyone that I just found out before we started the show. And DC, I didn't want to tell you because I want to get your true response because you always give a great initial true response. So I wanted to get that from you. Okay. So, of course, we know that Marcello Woodard, who was shot and killed by his parole agent, that was the first time that that has occurred in the state of Pennsylvania, and that is the second occurrence of the same thing that has occurred in the country. The very first incident that occurred in the country where a parole agent shot and killed his parolee was Jeremy Sanchez, who was the parolee out in Fresno, California. This occurred on December 24th of 2024, and a decision has just been reached on that particular situation. The California Department of Justice, let's see here, against the parole officer who shot and killed Jeremy Sanchez. Incident, like I said, December 24th, 2024. Location, the home of Jeremy Sanchez in Fresno, California, during a scheduled home visit by his parole officer. The individuals involved, the deceased was identified as 26-year-old Jeremy Sanchez. The name of the parole officer and agent with 13 years of experience with the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation has not been released. A physical altercation occurred during the home visit, which escalated to the point where the officer fired his weapon, striking Sanchez. The officer attempted life saving measures, but Sanchez died at the scene. An attorney for the Sanchez family has stated that Sanchez was unarmed and alleged he may have been shot in the back. The California Department of Justice conducted an independent investigation into the shooting, and in accordance with state law AB 1506, which mandates the state to investigate all officer-involved shootings, resulted in the death of an unarmed civilian. This also went to the DOJ. The outcome of this case, the state attorney general announced that the DOJ would not be filing criminal charges against the parole officer in this particular shooting. So, after 11 months of an investigation on the first case of a parole agent shooting a parolee, it has been deemed justified shooting. Now, the cases are not exactly similar at all. Even though Jeremy Sanchez was unarmed, an altercation pursued. An altercation happened. We don't know any more of the particulars outside of what I just read to you. There's not much online. I had to search and dig to find just that. There's no links that show any update from a TV station there. It's like this has been kind of silent out there in Fresno, California, for the first time that this has happened in the country. The one thing that we do know is that there was no altercation between Marcello and between Kevin Seelinger. We do know that he was shot within 16 seconds of Seelinger getting out of the car. And this is on the state police and the district attorney to find out why this actually occurred. So I'm saying this to you all to tell you that this went on for 11 months as far as an investigation, and it was deemed as a justified shooting. We're in for a brawl here, and I don't want that to ruin any of our hopes because Cello's situation was different. But DC, now that that investigation has been over and the result has been, or the decision has been made not to file charges, what do you think about that particular news?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a lot to think about when if you're talking comparing the two because that's a different state. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? On the other side of the country, and then on top of like as far as I guess justice for whatever what was the gentleman's name who was shot and killed?
Jeremy Sanchez.
Justice for Jeremy Sanchez. Like You said it was silent, so I'm wondering like what was his history? You know what I mean?
Right.
And was it justified? You know what I mean? As far as anybody who witnessed it or paid any attention to it, I'm not 100% sure what the continuum of use of force. I mean, the use of force continuum is there,
Hmm.
or you know what I mean. And he was in his house. Cello wasn't at his house. There was no
Right.
altercation with Cello. Cello was shot in the chest. So I mean, again, justice for Cello is going to be a lifelong thing for us all. So 11 months is I plan on living a lot longer than 11 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we're looking for a different outcome of the
Hmm.
situation. And if the outcome isn't in our favor, then I believe that we need to be figuring out what we need to do for an appeal or for the next level or for a retrial, because I don't think that one time, if it doesn't go our way the first time,
Yeah.
I don't think that that should be the end all be all. I feel like if we need to pull our resources together, and maybe we need to start doing that now so that we can hire an attorney to try it after, if
Right.
that's the case. But what I will say is it's interesting that that happened, because I've been in conversations with people as far, and Malcolm said it at the county council meeting, like,
Hmm.
what are we doing and how are we preparing ourselves in the event that that is the outcome? You know
Right.
what I mean? And again, we have to understand that this happened and it is taking this long for a reason. So we may not, they might say it's justified. You know what I mean? And in the event that they do, what are we going to do? How do we prepare ourselves for that? How do we, as strengths in the community, um, be a shoulder for our community to lean on and not encourage, chaos and not encourage ruckus, because it can be that. You know what I mean? When you have so many people seeking justice for Cello, and we talking justice for Cello, and we're talking change on so many different ways, there are also people who are saying violence is the answer. You guys are going about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
So with people already thinking like that, and that being a verdict of the only other case that this is taking place in the United States of America, I believe that it is in our best interest to start preparing ourselves for the outcome of Justified.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for us? Do we want to see if it's in the law to retry it somewhere else? Do we need to call in or raise up some funds to get some heavy hitter attorneys in here? Or with that being said, does the immediate family still have the opportunity to go after for civil, you know what I mean, for a civil
Hmm.
suit? And I mean, just so they can get some type of compensation. But at
Right.
the end of the day, if we're talking, we're going to get to the point to where it could potentially be not guilty or not justified, or he's still going to have his job. How do we continue to seek justice for Cello? How do we continue to advocate for change? And even if those five, like you said, those five areas that you're talking about, I believe
Yeah.
that the change one would
Hmm.
still be left up there. So again, that's another reason why I say justice for Cello for me is bigger than the rest.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to be realistic here and we're not going to act like we live in a rose-colored world, like there's a chance that he could walk. There's a
Hmm.
chance that this can be haha in our face, and then the comment section of Erie News Now. You know what I mean? In the event that this happens, what are we gonna do for Shateria? What are
Yeah.
we gonna do for Shamel? What are we gonna do for Snowy? What are we gonna do for the rest of his children? What are
Yeah.
we gonna do for our community? And what are we gonna do for the people who don't do well with people telling you got egg on your face, or
Hmm.
people talking mess, or y'all did all this justice and y'all didn't get nowhere. So I think that as we're getting more strategy, I mean, we're getting more strategic with things. We need to
Yeah.
be considering that. We need to be preparing our community for the event that it doesn't go in our favor, and we need to be identifying people who can help,
Yep.
who's going to play roles in keeping our community safe, keeping our city safe, keeping our brothers who are on parole on the streets in the event that they feel they want to do something. Who's going to keep our young men safe if they feel like, oh, this is wrong? How are we going to protect ourselves? And then in the event that we get the verdict that we're looking for, what does that
Hmm.
mean to us? How do
Right.
we progress with that? How do we move forward? So at this point, we're in the stage of, yes, we're seeking justice. Yes, we're going to the meetings. Yes, we're going to continue to ask for transparency. Yes, we want the district attorney to speak to us. But we are also now planning for the future in the event that we need to change our community with the resources that are going to be afforded to us, or the resources that we're going to need moving further, because 11 months is not a long time.
Hmm.
Justice for Cello for me is a lifelong thing, and I am definitely under the understanding that there's a chance that it may not go in the favor that we want it to, and that does not mean that I need to lose my head. That does not mean that I need to become emotionally unstable. That means that we need to be stronger for the people who we know may not be able to deal with the decision as such.
Yeah, and we all know there this is not the first time law enforcement has shot and killed an unarmed black man. Yeah, this is not the first time that has happened. It's the first time a parole agent has done that in the state of Pennsylvania, um, and there's two different states, California and Pennsylvania, and the scenarios were different. They were slightly different, and that's why I think it's very important to know that Cello, and they've said this already, that Cello was unarmed. There were no drugs found in the vehicle, and I've said this a number of times because law enforcement knows how to handle certain situations to go in their favor, and most of the time favor as well. And for him to put his hand on the door and then say that he was being dragged when he wasn't, that is a big factor that they have to really look into. And I think the audio on that Ring doorbell is very crucial. But even more important to that, we cannot let a video that is tough to see exactly what happened be the determining factor. We need everybody that was involved in this situation as witnesses. The gentleman that was across the street that had the flashlight, we need him to contact the district attorney and we need him to give his side of the story. Anybody that was outside that saw what happened, we need you to contact the district attorney's office and please tell what happened. That's the other thing that I think that we do wrong in the black community, DC, is um, nobody wants to say nothing. You know what I mean? When there's some stuff going on, a lot of people they don't want to get involved in any type of investigation. They may be fearful that something may happen to them, but this is Justice for Cello, and this is for the entire community. And Justice for Cello is not going anywhere. It will be around for years and years and years. This is a monumental case, and we need people to step up and speak their mind about what has happened because based off of what you saw and what you say could be the determining factor of what the outcome of this case can be. And Deontay, you said, you know, okay, there hasn't been, we haven't seen a justice for Jeremy. It's not prevalent on social media. You don't see a lot of coverage. Um, Maybe this guy had poor character. Not saying that he deserved to lose his life, but maybe he had poor character and people just didn't want to get involved. Like, hey, man, I knew something like this was going to come because this happened. We don't know his whole past. We don't know what he was involved in. And maybe that's the reason why we don't see that much. But it's the total opposite for Cello. We know about Cello. We know what he brought to the table. We know what his flaws were. We know that he was turning his life around. We know he had 14 days left as far as what they say that he was on parole and when he was going to get off. Look at how many people support Justice for Cello versus Justice for Jeremy, which is non existent. That has to do with character, in my opinion. And I think the character that Cello has is why we have so much backing from different races in the community to keep Justice for Cello going for a long period of time. So you hit it on the head. I would agree with you 100% that maybe it has something to do with this guy's character and his personality as far as why there's not a lot of coverage on him, right?
Possibly. I mean, yeah, possibly. Again, like with that being on the other side, we really don't know. But
Yeah.
we do know it's like when you look at the hashtag Justice for Cello and when you search it up or you see the people that's sharing it, and as time goes on, it's growing. You know
Yep.
what I mean? You're seeing people who are becoming friends with people they probably never would have crossed paths with. You're seeing people have conversations with people who, you know what I mean? Like I know, like I say all the time, I know how I look, I know how I present. I've been in places where people clutch their purse or they lock their door when I walk past. You know what I mean? But then you
Yep.
got people like me and Mimi O'Connor having conversations to where like if you seen her and I in the same place, you will be asking her like, "Ma'am, are you okay?" You know what I mean? So it's getting to the point now to where the character of Cello is radiating through the people who are advocating for
Yeah.
justice for him, and I
Hmm.
think the people who are seeing us advocate for justice are noticing like, "Yo, these are good people.
Yeah.
That was wrong. How can I get involved?" And as they are engaging with us, you know what I mean? They're getting a little bit more comfortable and they're learning. They're learning about. Hold on.
Hmm.
They're learning about who we are and what we stand for. And they're like, "Oh, how can I help you?" And people hear Shamel go down to the meeting and she's crying. They're like heartbroken. So
Yeah.
what I will say is based on what we see and how this has grown, Cello's character is speaking through all of us.
Yep.
I mean, again, I'm not sure how you feel, but I don't just associate myself or my name with just anybody's name to go this hard. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like we could have easily just been, just Cello fell back and followed like everybody else is falling. But what we're doing is we're advocating and we're pulling people together and we're accepting people who want to help us seek justice and we're being more loving and building our community and we're talking about our responsibilities as citizens. So yeah, man, you think about the character, and again, I didn't follow the other case to really speak too much to, but what I do know is living in the city of Erie, Pennsylvania, and seeing how this thing is growing, the level of respect that's raising for people, the recognition and acknowledgement that people are receiving for putting their necks out there. It just like anywhere I go, people are talking to me and they're telling me thank you, or people are saying keep going, or we support you. I talked to Malcolm. He told me he's getting the same response. I see Tina Hiotis is in the comments
Yeah.
saying she getting the same response. So it's like people people in the community are like, yo, there are some people out there who are resilient, who are
Yep.
going to go hard and they're going to push. And I admire that and I love what they stand for. So you even have people who normally mind their business or stay out the way receiving recognition. Like again, we can talk about Malcolm. Like
Yeah.
Malcolm's not no talk about me type of dude. He received the recognition acknowledgement award for his role
Yeah.
and what he's doing, and you know what I mean. And more people are paying attention to him and what he has going on. So throughout all of this, we are building up the love in the community, and I think it just speaks to the type of person that Cello was because again, what I will say is I don't think people go this hard just for anybody. And I don't think this many people would have been putting their necks out on the lines, or even it's people who don't know Cello, but who know some of the people who are advocating for Cello.
Yeah.
And they know those people so well that they're like, yo, if Deontay is putting it on the line for this guy, then it has to be real, and I'm going to join him.
Yep.
So it's just trickling down and through our community to where I think his character is speaking through our actions. I
Yep.
think his heart is speaking through our actions.
Hmm.
Even when we deal with the trolls or we ignore the trolls, like it's all been love, it's all been positivity. Even when we've had our roughs and our downsides, it's like
Yeah.
everything has been uplifted and will continue to be uplifted because it is speaking volumes to the type of man that Marcello was. It's speaking volumes to the impact that he's had on his community, to his family and his friends, and then even people who didn't even know him that are like, yo, this is wrong. And you got people saying Cello name like they knew him. I love how Mimi ends her speeches and she makes sure that everybody in the room say Cello name 3 times. Like,
3 times. Yeah.
think about that for a second, bro. Like we both play sports. Like you ran the ball. I didn't get the ball. So wasn't
Yeah.
nobody screaming my name. But you know what I mean? It's like now we got people like Cello,
Yeah.
Cello, Cello. So we need to make sure that when you hear the name Cello, when you see the name Cello, and when you hear justice for Cello, that it means a lot more. It means that this man was somebody to not be messed with. And we as a community are going to continue to stand up and show through our character what type of character he had and what type of man he was. And we're not going to let anybody slander his name or try to tear apart his legacy that he didn't have an opportunity to complete because his life was stolen. So,
Yeah.
yes, his character means a lot. It speaks volumes, and we're going to continue to push. We're going to continue to advocate, and he has done nothing but pull this community together.
Yeah. And it means a tremendous amount to at a sporting event or at a game, and to hear the crowd say your name. I used to really, really love that part of it. And, when we're at these protests, and we're hollering his name, he hears us. He hears us from above. And it's an honor to do that from down here in Tampa. When I went to the National Day of Protest, and I had all of them saying his name, you know what I mean? And it's something that is special, and I know he hears us because God is good. That's why, I've always been upfront with people about this here. I never had the pleasure of meeting my little cousin Cello. I never had the pleasure of spending time with him. I've never had the pleasure of looking at him in the eye. I've never had the pleasure of being able to give him some guidance and advice as his big cousin. I just was not blessed to do that because I left Erie, Pennsylvania in 2007, and I'm still down here in Tampa. But I can vouch for his character because he's a Woodard. And if you guys know us Woodards, how we know these Woodards, we have good character, you know what I mean? And all of the people that we're related with, man. And so I know that he had a great bubbling personality. I know he could put smiles on people's faces. I know he was a good dude, man. And here it is, day 164, and I'm fighting for somebody that I never met but is related to me. And I'm going hard, and I won't stop, and neither will Deontay either. So this has been an experience for a lot of us, man. And I wish I had the time to have spent with him and to really get to know him as a person. But he left his legacy behind. He has 3 children. Um, what are we going to do with these 3 children as they get older and go through life experiences? And I hope that they know that they have a community behind them that back them, that can support them, that will be there for them 100% of the time. And that is what's going on right now with Justice for Cello. And when you look at Justice for Cello and you see all the comments online and you see how many people support him, it does bring a smile to my face because he is forcing not only the community but the lawmakers in Erie to change some stuff, to change some stuff. And that is what we've needed. We've needed it before Cello lost his life. And more importantly, if he is in this situation, to force change because we miss him and we know that he was done wrong, then we need to push the powers that be to exert change. And that is exactly what we are going to do. So, anything else you want to talk about, man? Let me I want to mention this too, to you, get your reaction here too. A source told Etcetera that Kevin Seelinger's direct supervisor is Dr. Laurel Harry. Her phone number, she's the Secretary of Corrections. Her phone number is 717-728-4109. You can look at my Facebook page. I do have it posted on there. A number of people have called that number already. We keep getting this lady on there who's getting sick of getting these phone calls from us. So a lot of people must be calling. I called again today and she said I needed to call back on Monday. So guess what? I'm going to call back on Monday and we're going to find out how you could manage to have an employee that killed somebody still working for you. But if someone had a past of tardiness, coming in late, you'd let them go. But you got someone that took someone's life that's reporting for work every day. How we need to ask her these questions. So make sure you feel free to call Dr. Laurel Harry, the Secretary of Corrections, 717-728-4109. What else did you want to discuss here centering
So I
this?
think I want to talk about that a little bit. I
Okay.
think that's a great idea that people are doing that. I know a lot of people might feel like, oh, that's not a good move or whatever the case may be. But
Hmm.
it's not like we call in the hospital and we blocking up the we blocking. I'm sending somebody a link to the show. It's
Yeah.
not like we call in a hospital and we blocking up the line or nothing like that to make it seem as though we
Yeah.
stopping it from doing somebody's job. Like we calling, and I
Yeah.
think people should continue to call and ask questions. And if it gets to the point to where, hey, this is the disruption of duties, then y'all they need to talk to the employee about it because where he works is he's a public servant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He works in the state. He gets paid taxpayer money. So yeah, we should be calling. Hey, is he there? Is he there? Is he there? If you're not, and if they tired of it, then that's an internal issue that they need to deal with. And if they need to call me, because listen, I've been the guy where people have called my job too, and they, hey Deontay, come here, we gotta talk to you. Like,
Hmm.
yo, there's people getting calls in here, and we ain't saying that we'll believe everything that they calling about, but it's slowing down the flow of things here. So you need to either handle that or you can't be here. So I
Right.
agree with that. I mean, that's just one tactic out of many that we can use to get some information. And if they don't like it, I mean, nobody's calling to say, hey, kill him. But we all know that Kevin killed somebody. So if the most severe thing that we're doing is making phone calls
Hmm.
for somebody's job, then it's not as bad as murder. So
Right.
nobody should be feeling like, oh, y'all doing too much or y'all tripping. Just be patient. Like that is a harmless act. And I feel like anybody who's seen that post, or anybody who's seen that phone number, should give that lady a call to ask some questions. And if there's an email address, we should be sending emails. And we also need to be documenting who is answering the phone. Because again, if you work for the state of Pennsylvania, you need to identify yourself when you answer the phone. Hello, this is Deontay Cooley. How can I help you?
Mm.
Hello, this is such and such. Because I would like to know, may I ask who I'm speaking with? And it is not anonymous. We're not, you know what I mean? It ain't like
Yeah.
you calling a police station and asking for undercover. No, I want to know your name and your job title and your rank. So then that way, when I call back, I know who I'm speaking with. So I think that's a great idea. And I'm glad that people are calling. And I'm glad that people are getting in contact with that lady. And I'm glad that they pissing her off. I mean,
Hmm.
at the end of the day, do something about it. Like, hey, what are you gonna do about this guy that's causing all of this disruptions in our, not your organization, in our organization?
Right. Yeah. No, it makes all the sense in the world, man. And I got the information from a very reliable source who spent a number of years as a superintendent of prisons. Information was correct, and I wanted to check myself to make sure that that number was correct. And yep, the lady answered the phone. She did not tell me what her name was, so that's something else that I can try to get tomorrow. But I called her right after someone else called and sent me a message that the lady was upset with her on the phone, had an attitude, and ended up hanging up on her. And so I was like, okay, that means it's time for me to call too. So let me call. And I called and got the same lady, and she was like, oh, she'll be here on Monday. Clicked, and she hung up on me. So that's how some of these employees want um, to perform their job duties. Okay, then we can pass this number on 717-728-4109. Like DC said, you can call at any time because they're always there. You know. Now, Dr. Laurel may not be there until tomorrow,
Fill her
but
voicemail up.
yeah,
That's another thing we can ask. Is there a voicemail
yeah,
that I can leave a message in? And whoever that person is that is hanging up the phone,
yeah,
they also have to answer to someone. And
yeah,
if you're not calling that line and you're not cursing somebody out, and it's a new person, she
right,
needs to be courteous and
yeah,
she needs to be respectful. Hey, can I speak to Dr. Laura? No, she's not in right now. Can I take a message? Or, oh, well, can I ask who I'm speaking with so that I know for the next time? But you,
hmm,
whoever it is who's calling, if that lady's being rude, then we need to get that person's name and that person's information because again, we're not calling to kill anybody. And
right,
if it has to impact, if there has to be casualties because people don't know how to hold their composure, like we've been asked to hold ours, then hey, so if we got to complain about the receptionist to where she get it right up, I don't care,
right,
write her up. If we got to complain about Dr. Laurel until she get it right up, I do not care, write her up. We are not doing anything but making phone calls. If you're not being disrespectful on the phone, then you need to be received with the same respect that you are giving. And if you are asking questions because you are calling a state line, if you're not asking any questions that is violating anybody's privacy or anybody's HIPAA, and it's public record and public information, then they should be either releasing that information or letting you know we are not loud. I cannot confirm nor deny because of X, Y, and Z, or there's no release of information for this individual. Whatever terminology that they need to use, but they need to be being more professional or more courteous. And if they are not, then we need to be getting the person who is being rude information, and we need to be reporting that to whoever it is that they answer to, because we are not playing.
Yeah, and this is the way that we keep applying pressure. Everyone, we have to talk these things out. We have to get some of the information. We got a lot of people that are on the inside that are experienced in a lot of these things that are giving us some good layups. They're passing the ball to us and giving us information, and we just have to continue to run with it. And we're playing within the rules of the game here. And so 717-728-4109 is Dr. Laurel Harry's phone number. She is the Secretary of Corrections and appears to be the direct supervisor of Kevin Seelinger. So please make that call, leave that message, ask the questions that you want to ask, because hey, we have not been given answers because there has been no press conference. There's been three statements out basically saying that the investigation is ongoing. So, hey, we got some questions to ask. Let's ask her, and we can go on from there. DC, final words. We got the city council meeting coming up Wednesday, 6:30. What else you want to go over
That's
here?
pretty much it. That's what I was going to close on is the city council meeting. Again, we're
Mm-hmm.
asking anybody who has time to show up. It's 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday. It's going to be the last city council meeting of the year. We need to let them know that we plan on ending the year the same way we're starting the year. We're coming in here, getting justice for Cello. We're going to recognize Mr. Mel Witherspoon, because again, outside of this incident or this situation, he
Mm-hmm.
has served. You know what I mean? He has done his job. And on top of him and I, we definitely had a conversation, and I believe
Mm-hmm.
I owe him at least that much. So I hope that everybody shows up for Justice for Cello. I
Yeah.
hope everybody shows up to recognize and honor Mr. Mel Witherspoon. But we're going to continue to advocate for our fallen brother. We're
Yep.
going to continue to be strong for Shateria, for Shamel, for Shamir, for Snowy, for his children. And we're going to do all the things that we need to do in order for us to get justice. So we just ask for everybody to continue to pray for us, continue to walk with us, continue to support us, and help us keep pushing forward.
Absolutely. So, like you said, City Council meeting 6:30 p.m. On Wednesday. If you have a moment to go down and just take 30 seconds to hop up there and say, I'm here to support Justice Fratello, say your name and sit down, that's totally fine. Or say whatever it is that you would like to say. We would really appreciate a huge crowd. And also, go down and say your goodbyes and give your flowers to Erie City Council President Mel Witherspoon after the years and years of service that he has given to the city of Erie. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, we might have a show coming up this week, and we'll be posting some of the speeches from everybody throughout the social media, and we'll discuss all of them sometime this week as well. I'll get with DC, and then we'll let you guys know when we're coming back on the air. So for Deontay Cooley, I am Craig Woodard Sr. Good night, and thank you for watching.